What's up, YouTube? This is Wow Echo. I'm Parker, and I'm here once again for the Raw Rundown. This week is the 25th anniversary for Monday Night Raw. On January 22nd of 2018 is when this happened, but it's celebrating obviously all of Raw, and so we had a lot of legends return and a lot of that stuff, and so I was really pumped coming out of it a little disappointed. It didn't quite live up to the hype, in my opinion. But um, obviously, on the Raw Rundown, I'm going to go through the Raw for this week, and I'm going to give the parts that I liked an up, and I'm going to give the parts I didn't like a down. Pretty simple, so let's just jump on in. Raw started off with Vince McMahon coming out, as well as Stephanie and Shane, and they were giving their father a plaque to commemorate the achievement of a quarter of a century on TV, which is pretty great. But Vince McMahon was not happy with the plaque. Apparently, he thought it was cheap or whatever. I don't know. And then he went kind of heel. And was he kind of goes in between, but and he was like, I built this business on my own, and the show would be nothing without me, and I don't need anybody's help. And then the person whose help he actually did need, and the reason why Monday Night Raw is still going on, in my opinion, Stone Cold Steve Austin's music hit. The glass broke. He came out. Huge pop. It was awesome, obviously. And Stephanie ran away because, she dealt enough with Stone Cold, I think, for her liking way back when, so I didn't think she wanted. I don't think she wanted to go with that again. But Shane stayed in the ring with Vince, and Vince, tried to back off from Austin and was like, I'm too old. I'm a senior citizen now. But Shane's still in his prime. He's still doing all his moves and stuff, so you can have your way with him. And Shane's like, what? Um, and then so Stone Cold hit Shane with a stunner, and then Vince and him were sharing a beer at first, but then obviously Stone Cold stunned Vince as well, and then gave Shane a beer, and then Shane drank the beer, and then he stunned him again, and he did the great spit as he got stunned with the beer, which is always one of my favorites. Um, this was enjoyable. It was just fun. It was good to see Stone Cold and Vince in the same ring, and because their rivalry is a huge testament of the whole reason why WWE is as popular as it is, and so it's getting up. Then right after that, we had an 8-woman tag match because we haven't had enough multi-woman tag matches yet. They're trying to fill the quota, I guess. I don't know. They haven't gotten there yet, apparently. But it was Sasha Banks, Mickie James, Bayley, and Asuka versus Sonya Deville, Alicia Fox, Mandy Rose, and Nia Jax. The Faces won with when Alicia Fox tapped out to the bank statement. Other than that, the match was pretty crap. In all honesty, most of it the was spent with the people that weren't legal, all attacking each other clumsily. Didn't look good. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't think it was worth anything. I didn't think it was worth the time slot that it took up. I think we could have used it for other stuff, like a tag match that we'll talk about way later in the show. But this was a waste of time. I'll never get that time back, and that's unfortunate for me because I my time is important, and this was not important. This was not worth a watch. If you missed it for some reason, don't go and find it. It's not worth your time. Um, Use that time for something worthwhile. And this was not it. This was crap, absolute crap. Nia Jax was involved, as well as Alicia Fox on the same team as that, and obviously their collective crappiness collided with any good that the others might have had, and it just overflowed into just total crap. And if you didn't guess by now, I'm giving it a down. I don't know if you could crack that code. Um, but yeah, so I don't want to talk about that anymore. Next, we go to the second location that they were filming. For some reason, they were filming in 2 locations. I guess for more ticket sales. I don't know. To me, it seemed like a waste to have 2 places because The one in Manhattan they only used for like 3 segments, um, while the one in Brooklyn was for most all the rest of the show. So I don't know, it's kind of weird, but we had the Undertaker come out, and obviously, as you guys know, if you've seen our favorite wrestlers of all time video, Undertaker is my favorite wrestler, so it's great seeing him again. And what was cool in kind of a way of continuity is that he came out in a different outfit, kind of similar to his Ministry of Darkness days, a little bit with like the hood instead of a hat. And he wasn't wearing his gloves. He wasn't wearing the same coat. He wasn't wearing a hat because he left those in the ring. And I think that was really cool that they thought that either he thought of that or I would guess he thought of that because he's the one that's really with the attention to detail for his character. But it was really great that he did that. I thought it was a nice touch. And he shot a promo. Um, I didn't fully understand it, honestly, because sometimes Undertaker's hard to understand with the his voice that he makes and stuff. But for the most part, I liked what I heard. And from what it kind of sounded was that he's like legit about his retiring. Is kind of what I got from it because he was talking about that the people uh, that he beat and the kind of old guard, the ones that they're kind of celebrating with this anniversary, that those people need to lay down and they need to make room for the new current talent is what I got from his promo. Anyways, I might be wrong with it. That's what I got. So I think that means that he is indeed sticking with his retirement, which in my opinion was the right decision. As much as I love Undertaker, his health is much more important to me than another match, and especially with the way they did the after effects of the match with Roman, the symbolicness of everything. I thought it was the perfect way to end it, and so I don't really want them to continue with it. So I'm glad for that, and so it's getting it up. The next segment, we had the match for the Intercontinental Championship between The Miz versus the champion Roman Reigns. And the match was good. Wasn't great. I think their other match that they had where Roman won was a little bit better, maybe. Not totally sure. I don't know. It was just okay. And the Miz won, which I thought was kind of surprising. I was really kind of, even though I kind of expected it because I figured that they wouldn't want it to be title versus title. I kind of was kind of hoping it would be. I thought it'd be kind of interesting because you don't see that hardly ever, especially nowadays. Um, but the match was good enough; it gets an up, but not a lot, of relevance to it. Honestly, I don't remember a whole lot. Next, we had the Peep Show with Christian, which was pretty cool. See that back, and his guests were the tag team champions Rollins and Jordan, and Jordan was really annoying in the segment, which kind of made me want to give the segment a down, but I didn't because that's what they want Jordan doing, and he's doing a good job. He's getting heat, and even though he's acting like he's supposed to be a babyface, he's actually a heel, which is great. So he's doing what he's got to do. He's getting actual heat. People really actually don't like him, and so it's good. And then the bar came out, and they didn't. I don't think they really. They they attacked Rollins and Jordan, and but the champions were kind of on top at first, and Jordan grabbed Cesaro for Rollins to go for his kind of like jumping knee thing, but Cesaro rolled out of the way just in time, and Rollins actually hit Jordan, and that was kind of the end of the segment. So it's interesting. I wonder kind of where they're going with it and what they'll do in the future. And so it was good enough to get him up, but just barely. Next, we went back to Manhattan for some reason, and we had a match that made no sense at all. I don't know why they decided to do this match now. I thought they were building for later on, hopefully WrestleMania, but they had for some reason Bray Wyatt versus Woken Matt Hardy. I don't know why you would go with this match right now when there's been, in my opinion, not good enough build for it. Basically, all they've done is they've they said a few things about the other one on the Titantron, but it wasn't like back and forth. It was just one saying one thing and then one saying another. It wasn't at each other. It was just they were just speaking, and then they've had them in the ring just laughing at each other and being weird. But to me, the build just hasn't worked. It just hasn't been enough to warrant the match happening right now. And so I don't understand why they had the match right now. I think that was a mistake. And then for some reason they had Matt lose, which is like, what? Why? Why would you have Matt lose? The only saving grace I could say is that maybe by having him lose, he'll become more broken and more wild and something like that. Because to me, he's been a bit watered down from how he was before with the broken gimmick. If you've seen any of his stuff, like while he's been really funny and really enjoyable to me, to me, it hasn't quite been as good as his original run in the broken gimmick. So I'm hoping that maybe like him losing will kind of be like each time maybe if they have him continue to lose for a couple of times against Bray, like each time he gets more and more broken and more wild and more uh, like he used to be, and maybe it'll end in him getting the win. I don't know. That's like the only redeemable thing, like I said. But at this moment, super disappointed with what they decided to do. So it's getting it down. Next, we have Elias going backstage. He's about to come out when he runs into none other than Chris Jericho, who I didn't expect on the show. I had heard a rumor that he might be there, but I had also heard that he had said that he wasn't going to be there. So I don't know if he had just said that because he didn't think he could make it back from his commitments in Japan in time. I don't know, or with his band. I'm not sure, but he was there, and that was really cool. And it was great because he sang a little song about how bad Elias was, and then it ended with him putting Elias on the list. And while it's not the same as how he is currently being in Japan, and maybe not as awesome as in Japan, it's still fun, it's still enjoyable, and so I'm giving it up. Throughout the night, I do want to say that there was other things that happened that I didn't give ups or downs to because to me they weren't worth anything because they were too brief. There was a time where a bunch of legends went into Kurt Angle's office and they were kind of like weird characters. Like the Boogeyman was there, that was cool, and then some other like weird guys that I didn't. It just wasn't special enough to me to warrant it. And then there was um, a segment where they had a bunch like popular, not necessarily popular, but like some of them were well known and more exposed, I guess. Raw GMs in the past. They had them all come out, but they didn't say anything. They just came out and smiled, and then it was over. And then they also did the same with some of like the more popular women uh, of the like Attitude Era. But they just like the others before they just came out and got to wave, and then it was over. And to me, that wasn't worth it. In all honesty, so I didn't want to. I wanted to mention them just to let you know that it did happen, but it didn't. It wasn't worth giving it up or down for. And then there was a poker game that was going on throughout the show. But after Chris put Elias on the list, Elias did go out and he sang and he talked. And Elias is just great. He's great on the mic and really good at getting the crowd behind him, and then also tearing the crowd down and making them against him. And then John Cena unfortunately came out, and it looked like Cena was going to beat up Elias, but then Elias did get the upper hand with a low blow. Then he smashed Cena with the guitar, which was great, and did his finisher on him as well. And so all that is getting it up because Elias is great. I thought it was really awesome. Next, we go backstage to that poker game that I was mentioning that had been going on the whole night. And there were a lot of people that were in there. You know, Jeff Hardy for some reason was there. APA was there. They were like the leaders of the ones that started the poker game. The Usos were back there, and the New Day was back there. Natalia was back there. The $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, was back there, which is cool. Um, and some other dude that we thought, like me and Zach were like, is that MVP? It's the only guy we could think was, but we weren't totally sure. I don't think they mentioned his name. But also back there was Heath Slater and Rhino, and Titus O'Neil, Apollo Crews, and Dana Brooke. And apparently Heath got caught cheating or whatever because of Dana's statisticianing. I don't know, stupid. And so this led to them going out to have a tag match, which was crap. And they didn't even finish the match, and so that's all getting it down. It was stupid, but the Dudley Boys came out, which was awesome. And what was stupid though is that Titus Worldwide and Rhino himself, his own partner, threw Heath Slater in to get attacked by the Dudleys. And so while it was enjoyable seeing the Dudleys in action and beating up Heath, it's just so sad that for Heath because he got beat up by a bunch of legends at the Raw 1000 episode, and then he gets beat up this episode, and his own partner wouldn't help him, and his own partner was fine with him getting beat up. It's just sad for he deserves more. He's got kids, for crying out loud. But the Dudleys did do their signature headbutt into the crotch area, which is a little weird. Has always been a little weird to me, but it's whatever. It's signature. And then they hit the 3Ds on the table, which was cool. But it's cool to see the Dudley Boys back. They're always great, and it's getting it up. Next, we go back to Manhattan, and we have Triple H and Shawn Michaels come out in their D Generation X personas, and they gave some really good promos. It was really cool, and they mentioned China, which was good, and then the rest of D Generation X came out. The New Age Outlaws and X Pac came out, and then even Razor Ramon came out, which was cool. Um, and then they said that it was too sweet, which led to the Balor Club coming out, which apparently is a legit thing now. That's what it was appeared on their thing at the bottom. But it was Finn Balor, Carl Anderson, and Luke Gallows. And they came out and they all did the Too Sweet all together. It was cool. And that's all getting it up. It was cool. It was a cool moment, kind of a passing of the torch in a way. Not quite the same. They're not quite the same, the groups, but it was still a cool moment. Next, we had like after that, the Revival came out, and if you remember last week, the Revival called out all the Legend teams, said that they were better than them, and this was that segment. But it was a tag team match between Anderson and Gallows versus the Revival. And this is interesting in a way because the match was extremely short. It was no more than 3-4 minutes, which is disappointing. But the match itself, like what they put in those minutes, was really, really good. And it makes me really want a match between those two teams in a much longer match. And so I'm giving it up for how good the match was, even though it was really short. But I'm giving it down because they actually had the Revival lose in such a in that quick fashion. They lost Anderson and Gallows, which was disappointing. I wouldn't have put the two teams together because I think that both need building up more and more, and both don't need to look weak in any way. But that's what they decided to do. And then after the Revival lost, they got beat up by the Legends, which I assumed was going to happen. But at least these Legends aren't as old, like they're not as legendy, I guess, as some of the others could have been. So it wasn't the worst, but it was still pretty bad. So I'm giving it down as well for that. Next, we come to the final segment. We have Kurt Angle decides to send the whole roster down to the ring before all the guys get there, which I guess is smart in a way, even though they didn't do anything. So Braun Strowman comes out, Kane comes out. They decide to make a line between them at first, but then Paul Heyman comes out, and they decide to go back outside the ring, and which was stupid. And then after that, they didn't do anything. But Paul Heyman cut an awesome promo. He was saying about how uh, Brock's not, he's not a legend. He's not here uh, for like the memories and all that stuff. He's here to fight. It was just the whole thing was really great. And so Paul Heyman's getting it up. He's so great, and this is one of his best promos in recent times, in my opinion. And then we had the brawl. Brock comes out and uh, Braun knocked down Kane real quick and then went out the ring to try and get Brock, but Brock like clotheslined him. It was really good. Uh, and then Kane was taken out super quickly, and then Braun got the upper hand on Brock and then put Brock through the table, the announce table, which was cool. And it ended with Brock laid out and Kane laid out and Braun Strowman standing tall, which unfortunately probably means that Braun's not winning the match at the Royal Rumble. But maybe they'll swerve us. Maybe I don't know. We'll see. But the brawl, while it was disappointing that Kane wasn't really involved, he got knocked down really quickly, and it was short, obviously, because they were crunched for time. Um, it was still really good, and it's going to get it up. And so Raw ended Raw 25, the 25th anniversary. It was good. Just it didn't live up to the hype for me that they put out for so many weeks. But the ups do dominate, and I did enjoy like it. It was a little dull, a little slow paced. There wasn't a lot of matches. There was a lot of backstage stuff, but none of it really mattered much. I don't know. It's kind of weird. It was kind of a weird episode, but it is what it is, and um, that's my opinion. You might have a different one, and if you do have a different opinion of this Raw, please let me know in the comments. I'd enjoy seeing what you guys thought of it. And if you like the video, please hit the like button for me. I appreciate it as always. And if you don't want to miss any Raw rundowns or any SmackDown surveys or any of our other videos that we put out for pay-per-views and also some top 10s coming out here in the next few weeks, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of our content. But with that, guys, I'm going to get on out of here. I've been Parker from Wawa Echo, and we will see you very, very soon. Peace.